Good morning, everybody. I hope you are all doing well. So, I've learned with these missing persons cases, I've kind of learned to take a few days, and just give it time to see what unfolds. Um, Unfortunately, the situation with Cassie Carli out of Florida, it is really beginning to um, looks like another one of those cases. You know, when I say another one of those cases, I'm talking about the whole Suzanne Morphew, you know, where where you have a woman who has been in a romantic involvement, whether it's marriage or boyfriend or whatever, and they ultimately decide that this is not the relationship for them, and that they need to get some distance and get to a place where they feel more secure and safe, and then ultimately, the asshole gets them, and I hate to make I really hate to make this generalized statement. um People that know me know I get along. I enjoy men. I'm not a man hater. But what I do hate is I do hate when when a man feels like the woman in his life is property, and that she's not given the freedom to make choices for where she wants to live, what she wants to do, where she wants to go. And then she, ultimately her crime for wanting to be in a different place is, the loss of her life. So, I really wanted this to turn out different, and I've been watching since, I guess, the 27th of March, and I just kept hoping that somehow she would turn up, and that hasn't happened. And there's now emerging facts that things look like there was a plan in place. And so when you have a plan in place, that's and a missing person, one has to think that, is that one of the steps in the plan, that person is in your way, and so you've got to get them out of your way. And so, I hope that I'm wrong 100%. And I'm not out there on the fringe like sometimes I am. I'm not on the fringe with these crazy thoughts. I mean, the sheriff's department has said the same thing. I have a wife. The sheriff said, I have a wife. I have never seen her go anywhere without her purse, which is a reality, right? So this does look like it's gonna it could end up being a, one of those cases that we're familiar with for a long time. And so, I decided I would go ahead and do that this morning. So her name is Cassi Carli. She's the man that she was involved with, that ultimately was the father of her child, is from Brazil, and his name is Marcus Spanevelo. And he's one of those that seems to be able to sweet talk anybody. He has a presentation that makes people think, oh, he's so reasonable, and he's so normal, and he's so attractive and handsome, that look. So we're going to go through a few things today that I think are a good jumping off point um, for the story. And then, like I said, sadly, I think we're probably going to be talking about this. Um, I think we're going to be talking about this case for a while, unfortunately. All right. So the first thing that I want to say, let me find it. First thing I want to say is that Cassie's family and friends have been really active, and they have one of her friends who's been her friend like 3 years or so, who is very well spoken. She understands the power of the media. She understands how to use social media. She's been very vocal in the past few days, and there's a few things that she wants to get out there to everybody. Number one, there is a Facebook page, not a group, but a page. And the page is being run by Cassie's sisters and friends. So any information that is on that page, that's the accurate information. She said that already, as of yesterday, already there are Facebook groups that are, like having these big discussions, and already they're presenting things that are not accurate. So she's pretty, she was pretty firm about saying, we want the story out there. We want people talking about it. We want those types of things, but please come to the Facebook page and get the appropriate, proper, factual information if you're going to talk about the case. So this is this is a picture of Cassie and Saylor with her father and sister. And this is apparently, from what they said on the beach, Cassie, or not on the beach, they were doing an interview. Yeah, I'm wrong. They were doing an interview, and they said that Cassie and Saylor, they do live with the dad, with Cassie's father, Saylor's grandfather, and that's him in the picture. So there's been there's a lot of background and history to this case, and part of that is inevitably behaviors that would be consistent with a narcissist. I mean the real deal. I don't mean, ooh, I hate my, boyfriend, he's such a narcissist. No. We're talking about exactly what you would read as diagnostic criteria. There's now evidence that this the father of Saylor has done almost all of those things. So this is a really it's a really concerning situation. Now, they do have Saylor. She was missing for several days. They ended up finding Saylor in Birmingham, Alabama, or near outside of Birmingham, Alabama. She was with Marcus, and they did take her. Child Protective Services in Alabama did take custody of Saylor, so she is in the care of the state, and the grandfather, where Saylor has been living with him, her home is his home. Her grandfather filed for emergency custody once they found her. And I'm not quite sure why this would happen, but the judge denied that. So that seemed inconsistent with that seemed inconsistent, I think, with what people generally expect will happen. But remember what happened with the young woman out of Austin whose best friend ended up killing her and taking her baby. They suspected that the husband was the one that did it, and he kept telling them, I didn't do it, leave me alone and go find my wife. And when they located the baby in Houston, he too filed for emergency custody. It was initially denied. And in that situation, the state was just trying to understand all that had happened. They just didn't want to move the child too quickly from one bad situation into another. They wanted to verify that everything was okay at the dad's house. And they actually followed the letter of the law. They even completed like a home inspection, and I mean, they did it 100% by the book. They didn't vary from state law and procedure at all. And then ultimately, he was given custody of his baby, right? So I'm going to assume that that's what's happening here. That even though he was denied the initial request, I'm not sure that that's because they think there's a problem in the home. I think it's because this is a weird situation, and the state is trying to understand what was fact and what was manipulation before they agree to place this child back into her original home, right? So why do I say in manipulation? Well, because Marcus, there are reports that Marcus frequently called Child Protective Services in Florida to make complaints against Cassie. Now, how disgusting and gross is that? So he would make these reports, they would come and they would investigate, and they would go, no, of course not. This is ridiculous. And they would kill the complaint. So he's he has a history of lying, manipulating things that weren't the way he presented them, all designed to make Cassie look like an unfit mother so he can take the child. And it is interesting because the courts only awarded him a brief amount of visitation. For the life of me, I don't know why he didn't have supervised visitation if they were going to only give him bi-monthly, right? I've never heard of that. But I don't know, maybe he started out with supervised visitation and then they worked up to this other strange arrangement, or maybe the friend that was talking on camera said that wrong. Maybe she meant bi-weekly. She does say bi-monthly, which I don't really understand. But anyway, he has limited visitation. And the reason that I'm certain that he has limited visitation is because he is supposed to be paying Cassie child support. And so normally the custodial parent is the one that receives the child support. So it's I don't really understand the custody arrangements with this baby, but I do get a picture that because of the manipulation and the fact that Cassie had left him and was trying to get her life back in order. She had a job set up. She was going to start working on Monday, and she was, trying to get things back in order, getting away from this allegedly abusive guy, and try to make a home for her baby. She has a lot of friends. She's got friends that she's known for a long time. She's very close. Cassie's very close with her family. All of these are signs that say that Cassie was stable and happy and healthy and did fairly well. And then she got involved in this guy, and it became a circus, which is typical with the whole narcissist type of situation. So this is a picture of the dad and the baby. And this I'm getting from the Facebook page. Okay. So the Facebook page is Missing Mom from Navarre, Florida. There it is. Missing Mom from Navarre, Florida. And then they've got her name, Cassi Carli. So this is the page that they want you to get your factual information from, right? They're gonna keep it updated and keep everything posted. So this is the one. This is where you want to be. And you can see, we go all the way to the bottom. You can see that they started with a flyer, a missing persons flyer, and that was on March 29th at 4:39 p.m. There's several different flyers here that you can print if you're in Florida or Alabama. It would probably help to print some out, put on your social media. Maybe if you're actually near the beach or going up toward Alabama, Birmingham, maybe print some and see if you can put them in the windows of stores and whatnot. But here is the first one that they put out before they really knew anything. They're showing that she drives a dark gray Toyota Venza. They have located her car, and they have located the baby, and the baby is in protective custody with the state of Alabama. And they have located the father, who was working in Alabama. Supposedly some kind of computer guy. Supposedly he's some kind of computer guy, but then I'm going to show you a video just a minute that I don't really understand. But this was an interview that was done by her friend. And I'm scrolling up to the present day. This is such a precious photograph of Mardi Gras. Look how pretty and happy. And that would have been February. Sweet baby. I just don't know what's wrong with these men. I don't understand their crap. This is interesting. You'll get a lot of information if you listen to this video. These are her dad is over there on the far right in the yellow raincoat. And then these are her family and friend, or her sister and friends. Sam in the pink or red shirt right here. I hope you guys can see this. I forgot to check. Oh, damn it. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. So we'll start from here, and then I'll go up to the top where the name of the Facebook group is, so you can get the name. I am so sorry. I'm such a gooberhead. I tell myself every time I've got to remember, not to do that, and every time I do it. Okay. So this is her. They do this like press conference on the beach where they're doing a search. They've been searching the area in Navarre around Juana's, which is like a restaurant vacation area. And they've got a lot of people in the community that are coming out. She lives in Cassie's home is in Navarre. In fact, this place that she went missing was only about 10 minutes from her dad's house. She and Saylor have been living with her dad. So these are family and friends. The lady that's in the pink or the light red, the father, Marcus, he said that Cassie told him to drop her off at this woman's house. Her name is Sam. To drop her off at this woman's house, Sam, in Destin. And in this video, you'll hear him say that Sam doesn't live in Destin anymore. And Sam had no plans to see Cassie and Saylor and never did hear from Cassie. So we know now we have at least one lie, which is a fairly big whopper lie from Marcus. I, for the life of me, don't understand why he wasn't arrested for kidnapping. And the reason I say that is, number one, he took the baby across state lines. That's number one. I don't know why that wasn't grounds for taking her. And then number two, the false CPS reports, and he ends up with that child in his care outside of visitation time. I'm having a hard time understanding why the cops did not arrest him. So anyway, that is Sam. And when you read the newspaper articles and they talk about that Cassie said, drop us off at Sam's house in Destin, Sam is there at the search, and she's with Cassie's sister and dad and friends. And Sam is saying, not only did I not see her, I had no plans to see her. I had not spoken to her. I had no reason to think that and I don't live in Destin anymore. So obviously Marcus didn't know that Sam had moved. All right. So, and the name of the Facebook page is Missing Mom from Navarre, Florida, Cassi Carli. All right. And then here is his work trailer. And he has taken that work trailer and he has turned it into there's a living space on the inside, right? He's got like a bed and living quarters. This trailer, along with his black Chevy truck, they were photographed there near the beach behind Joanna's, where her car was also located, but not together. They were pretty far apart. I believe that's probably how they found him. I believe they spotted this because that's a huge trailer. If you saw it up against the truck, you would be like, oh yeah, you would definitely notice that that's a weird looking thing. So that I think is how they located him in Alabama. And he did have Saylor with him. He did, but not Cassie. So his story about where Cassie ended up is highly suspect. Here's another another poster that you could print out if you're in this area between Alabama and Florida, and they've got the Santa Rosa phone number on it. She's a beautiful woman. She's 5'5", approximately 150 pounds. They have located her car with her purse on the inside. This is the view that Cassie and Saylor would have been looking at had they been sitting in the car when they were waiting to meet up with Marcus Spanevelo. So Marcus Spanevelo had his daughter for visitation, and Cassie came to the location to retrieve her daughter from a public exchange location, which is something they normally ask for if there's been a heated relationship that's breaking up. So it wasn't a public location, though. I mean, I got to say, it was a parking lot, but I'm telling you, it's fairly, they were parked. She was parked in an area that was far away from the restaurant, closer to the beach. It was a parking space, but there's nothing around. There's no other cars even, really. Let's just use this as a word of warning. If you yourself are in one of these situations for public exchange, or your daughter or your son and his ex, if y'all are supposed to be in a public place to exchange, that is a safety. That is for safety, right? That is to make sure that everybody's safe and you don't get into this fight and all this, emotional kind of impulsive type violence. Do it at a McDonald's parking lot at 12 o'clock where it's going to be full of people, eyewitnesses. This was something that she was very far away from anybody that would have seen anything. So it's, but I do think Navarre is on an island, or is an island. And I do think that this would have been facing west. So maybe that's what she was doing. Maybe she was just looking at maybe she was faced in a pretty direction view while she was waiting. I'm just guessing there. I don't know, speculation. But anyway, that photograph of the water tower, it's a landmark but also they wanted you to see that's what she would have been looking at. So you can see it's just kind of brush wilderness. It's right at the beach side. You can't see the ocean in that picture, but it's right there. I don't know. It's strange. Now his camper or work trailer and truck were parked quite a ways away from this, still in the same area, but near a boat ramp, which I felt was a little bit chilling. But anyway. And this was just where a local restaurant gave the searchers food. This Navarre Family Water Sports, they donated paddle boards for the search. So they're searching, around the coastline, the water and whatnot. Here's another missing poster that you can print out. This one's put out by Klaus Kids. There's a really good picture of her. See if I can get anything new. I'm going to tell you the reason that I really like this picture. I really like this picture because all the other pictures are very photogenic, and she's obviously dressed up for, some social event. So she's looking quite beautiful. Most of us don't look like that in our normal day-to-day lives unless maybe we have a professional type job. I really like this picture because I do think it looks more of what she would look like if you saw her going to Walmart or something like that. So to me, this just kind of gives you a little bit better view of what she might look like in day-to-day life. She's no question, she's a beautiful woman, absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, that might be a good picture to just like cut out her face, her and Summer's face, I guess, or her and her dad, and put up with the other pictures of where she's very beautiful and prepared, have her makeup on and everything. Might be a good picture to put up to just show both sides. Here's another picture of, her looking like she would probably look in a regular day, right? Going about her daily life. Such a pretty lady. This was a really great interview. If for nothing more, it's worth to go over to the Facebook page, Missing Mom from Navarre, Florida, Cassi Carli, to hear this interview. You'll learn an awful lot about the relationship with Marcus. Okay? All right, now then. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to share another page. All right. So this is Marcus. He has a Facebook page. It's got 2 videos up. This video was put up 5 years ago. Okay. He's asking for help. 5 years ago, he made a Facebook page. He put up 2 videos. One's 38 seconds, wanting to know how to use a certain kind of relay. And he's supposed to be a computer genius. And then this one where he's saying help, 2014 Silverado OnStar, how to get rid of OnStar. And immediately my brain went to Barry Morphew. Why are these guys messing with their computers on board? Yeah. So 5 years ago, he would have been in a relationship with Cassie. he would have been in a relationship with Cassie. All right, so let's see. What's this guy doing? Is he up to no good? I don't know. Let's listen and find out.
So here's the question. What and how can I get rid of all this crap right here? So 2014 Silverado. I will never use CD. I want this out. But if I take this out, the radio don't work. This right here says it is the GPS radio. I don't use that crap. Also, I heard this is the OnStar computer, which I don't want it in here. So I also want it out. But once I unplug any of these, the radio stopped working too. The only thing that I think here is this is the radio module, but I'm not sure. Either way, I want this out, which I believe is the GPS and the OnStar, GPS radio and OnStar. And I want this gone because who the fuck listens to CD nowadays? So, anybody help? Thank you.
So, I got so much to say about that. First of all, he's lying in this video. He's claiming that his story is about. Why can't I get it off of? There it is. Okay, he's lying in this video. You can see that the title is Help 2014 Silverado OnStar, how to get rid of OnStar. There's no doubt that the goal that's going on here is he wants to get rid of OnStar, right? And OnStar is the system that that's your telematics. That's where they know where you are if you have a car accident. They can find you. It's just a safety feature, and they can unlock your car for you, and you are giving up this idea of individual control, but what do you get in return, right? So he's got 5,000 views. It's been up since October 2016. It's got 5,000 views, and he's got 4 likes. So what are people saying? Well, Kapowski 12 hours ago said, "You don't have anyone fooled, Mr. Marcus. You know what you did. Confess." And then Successful Barber, this was 1 year ago. He says, well, the radio module you pointed to is actually your traction control, your 4x4. So I don't know how this guy's supposed to be a computer genius if he doesn't even recognize computer components, right? So what he was calling the radio was actually the traction control for the 4x4, and then also the OnStar. And he's telling him, just disconnect the OnStar antenna. Like, it's so simple. So that for this guy to be asking the question in the way he's asking it, I think he's wanting somebody to teach him, like, how do I do that? How are they going to know that I did this? I'm doing this maybe because I want to get rid of a radio. If anybody ever asked me why I disconnected it. I mean, the whole thing is highly suspect, if you ask me. Now then, Kapowski says, how did this, he did this video 5 years ago. He's obviously not a good man and up to no good. I'll take the CD box, and that was 3 years ago. Maybe somebody could reach out to Project 2018 Silverado. That might be interesting. 1 year ago, how you take off star. Hey, homeboy, where's Cassie? That was 3 days ago. 1 day ago, you sound insane. Where's Cassie? Cleo Chip, 11 hours ago. Turn yourself in, Marcus. 11 hours ago, where's Cassie? And then 5 years ago, look at this. Look, 5 years ago, somebody says, you are crazy. Oops, Marcus, looks like there's a little chink in your armor there, big guy. Mr. Smooth, I can schmooze anyone. Because M9A1 man is not schmoozed at all. He had your number 5 years ago. And that tells me that if there's one person that saw this and said, you're a nut, there's more. So, you know what, Marcus? I think your time is numbered. I think they're on to you. That's just a guess that I have. Okay. All right. So there are more, like here, there's some more replies. Looks like he may be deleting them, because when I looked at this earlier, it was I'm talking about, there were tons of people commenting. Yeah, he's definitely deleting comments, because you got the 5 years ago and then 11 hours, 12 hours. Looks like he may be deleting comments. Okay, so that is Mr. Marcus Spanevelo, and I went ahead and downloaded this video to make sure it didn't disappear, just in case somebody wanted it one day. And he's got one other video up. Come on. There it is. He's got this relay question, and I don't know anything about computers. Oh, my computers, and it's just a little 38-second video. Yeah, 38-second video where he's hooked up some components, and he names it relay question. And he doesn't ever say anything in the whole video. He's just showing how he's got this relay connected, but there's no word. There's no way to know what his question is. He just says relay question, and then he shows what he's put together. Underneath it, he writes, to make this very long story short, all I want to do is to turn a relay on and off using an Arduino. I bought this relay from eBay, 12-volt, one-channel relay module, optocoupler, low-level trigger expansion board, Arduino. Let's see if you put anything in. And I got the wired like this, and he goes through and tells how he wired it. And then he says, I see the LED on the relay goes on every time the relay was supposed to change its state. But when I check with the voltmeter, the NO never closes and the NC never opens. And then he goes on with some more electrical type of comments, and that's it. So that was put up, were they put at the same time? I don't know. Let me look. Hold on. That is November 18th. No, 2 different times. The first one that went up was October the 11th. That's one where you hear him talking. He wants to get rid of the OnStar. And then on November, which is a few weeks later, about 3 weeks later, he puts up this weird, what am I doing wrong with this relay? So what's he putting together? What was he setting up? Is the relay, was that supposed to be so he could turn his OnStar off and on rather than totally removing it, which would be alerted, right? So very, very curious situation with the limited, highly limited Facebook. I'm not Facebook, YouTube channel. But I wonder, I will tell you this, I wonder if he did have a lot of other videos up, But if he did and he went through and deleted this, why would he leave 2 of them up? Why not just, let me see when he made his YouTube page. It doesn't say. He doesn't have an about. So you can't really see when it was made. Maybe, hold on, maybe I'm looking at the wrong page. Okay, here it is. Hold on. Okay, so he joined YouTube April 2008. And it was 8 years later that he posted these 2 videos. So he probably, I don't know why he's left those 2 up, though. That's very, very strange. Okay, anyway. So being done with that, and I wanted to look and see. See, he's gotten that video where he's asking about the OnStar, 5,000 views, 4 likes. And that's the only information that TubeBuddy has on it. Okay. All right. So I think that's going to be enough for today. It's uncomfortable. You know, why I can't. Most of the time when I see these videos like this where somebody's asking questions on how to work on something on a car or whatnot, they tell you like what it is that what their ultimate goal is. Like if they're wanting to take out OnStar and take out the CD player and all that, then they tell you, well, I'm going to put this system in, right? Because you got to know where you're going. And I think it's highly telling that he was only worried about the OnStar, and he sort of threw in, oh yeah, you know, I think I'll get rid of this CD player. And I want to just get all this junk out. But then he doesn't want. I mean, what are you going to do? You're just going to leave your dashboard empty? If you're not using it, why do you care if it's there? No, I think he was up to no good even then. I think he's a guy that's aware that he doesn't want to be tracked for some reason. I have OnStar. It's run by a satellite system, and with or without a subscription, it still runs. You cannot hide from anyone anymore. Absolutely, Teresa. I 100% agree. And even if you were to take the OnStar out, if you've got a newer vehicle, there's other components in that dashboard that know where you are at any point or time. OnStar is specifically to offer it gives you the capability of someone in a different location communicating with your car, right? Like to open your car door for you if you locked your keys in. Or if you have a car accident, it calls the sheriff's office or it calls an ambulance, right? But if he's such a computer genius, which I doubt after seeing this, then why doesn't he recognize and realize that there are other systems within the electrical system itself, that there are other systems that know where he is? There are other systems that all they got to do is pull that chip out, put it into the proper interpretation software, and they'll be able to tell line by line exactly what he did to that car. I mean, we see that with Barry Morphew. Now, Barry had an extended telematics type of program for his work truck, but you can still get the because all cars and trucks are so automated at this point. I mean, you do realize we're getting to a point where cars are going to drive themselves, right? They've just started a a company in, is it Florida or California, where it's like calling for an Uber, and it's a car that has no driver, and then you get in it and it drives you where you want to go. I'm not doing it, but some people are. So this is uncomfortable, right? Am I the only? If you think this is weird and uncomfortable, put a 1. And not that this has anything to do with Cassi Carli specifically, but it's uncomfortable that 5 years ago, he was already having awareness of not being tracked. If you think it's uncomfortable, you think it shows, gives you a window into his mindset, put a 1. If you think that I'm being silly and looking for booger bears, put a 2. And while y'all put your numbers in, let me say this. I recognize and I fully embrace our right to privacy in this country. 100%. I don't want the government knowing where I am at any moment in time. I don't want my telephone or my computer to be monitored by government entities. Okay, I get that. I do. This guy's talking about a system on his truck that is not related to the government and is actually there to call an ambulance or the police if he gets in a car wreck. He wants to take out a system that he doesn't even know where it is within the dashboard. He never is bothered by it. He doesn't have to do anything to it. It operates completely behind the scenes, so he never even knows it's there. And it may help him get into his car with no money paying to a locksmith by just simply calling OnStar and saying, hey, I locked my car in. Oh, do you have a subscription? No, I don't. Well, if you'll pay the subscription, I'll unlock your car for you. Do you see what I mean? Oh, yeah, it's got so many great things. No doubt. So the fact that this guy is wanting to disconnect OnStar, and he wants to do it in a way that it's not going, he's asking, I'm going to stop all this other stuff from working if I disconnect OnStar. I think what he's doing is trying to get an expert to tell him the systems that OnStar may be connected to that will record the fact that he manually disconnected it. Right? So I don't know. Call me crazy, Marcus. Maybe you should have just taken some olive oil and poured into the computer unit, But you putting this video up, this is bad, dude. This is so bad. Okay, so most everybody thinks it's kind of along the same lines. It's very uncomfortable. It definitely doesn't mean that he had nefarious thoughts about Cassie per se at that moment. But I do think it's a little bit of a window into maybe he has some secrets. Maybe there was a wife that he didn't want that wife to be able to track him, where maybe he was messing around with somebody, right? So there's a lot of explanations when people are trying to hide from being tracked, but this looked bad. I think it's interesting that this is still up. It's possible he forgot that it's there. He just doesn't remember. But his other social media, he has locked it down. So you can't get into his Facebook anymore or anything like that. It's still there. He didn't delete it. You can message him or whatever. But yeah, he is that's right, BBT. He's probably trying to disconnect his OnStar because he has nothing to hide, right? Yeah, he is shady, Teresa. So I'm going to leave it with one more fact, and that is that this guy is from Brazil, and you can hear that in his accent. He's from Brazil, and his mother still lives in Brazil. And she put up a photograph of Saylor playing in the water at the beach. And underneath it, she wrote, what a pretty miss, meaning like a little girl, what a pretty miss, MISS. And then she wrote, counting the hours and days. And this was just like a couple of days after Cassie went missing. So was Marcus planning on taking a trip? Are there airplane tickets out there, Marcus? So this is a messy case, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm fully invested in the Barry Morphew case, right? That's kind of like my real focus right now. Fully invested in that, and the Lori Vallow stuff too, but fully invested in the Suzanne Morphew situation. I saw this happening on the 27th, 28th, and I kept an eye on it. Now, every day I was checking on the news, hoping that she would be found safe, right? And every day she wasn't there. They didn't find her. I was glad they found the baby. You know, that's a big, huge relief that she's not with a crazy man. And so when I saw the post by the grandmother, Marcus's mom, my heart sank. And I said, you know, I think this is going to be one of those cases. And I got to tell you, I'm weary. I'm so weary of these men that disappear their previous loved one. What are we doing to our people that they don't seem to be able to tolerate the breakup of a relationship? Just let your ex-wife go or your girlfriend go. This is you were driven, that your need for control was so powerful that you now are probably going to spend the rest of your life in prison. I'm just weary. I'm just so weary of it. You know, the Lacey Peterson case, it was so long before we got another one of those. You know what I mean? And then there was Jodi Arias, which was the same thing. That's still domestic violence. I don't care if it's the girl or the guy doing it. It's still domestic violence. She was driven by control. She had a powerful urge to control Travis, no question. And then that one, it took a long time for something new. But now, my God, it's every week. The only thing great about this case is that it didn't happen in Colorado or Utah, right? So it is. I'm very sad, you know, to see another one of these cases unfolding. And I really, you know, I wish they would find her and she would be safe and there would be a happy ever after story, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, all right, people, I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Go to the Facebook, and there's a lot of good videos there to read. And it, like I said, it's being run by the sisters, the family, and the friends, the close friends. And that's where we're going to get our facts. So we're not going to repeat all the gossipy stuff that gets swirling around in these types of cases. Everything that we need to know. I mean, they are putting out, I'm going to tell you this, they are putting out an enormous amount of information on that Facebook page. There's no reason to invent things. They are talking. You know, we've had some cases like the Morphew case where the family is putting out no information, zero. Of course, you're going to get speculation. Of course, you're going to get people that are digging and trying to put things together if there's nothing out there. But in this case with Cassi Carli, the family and the friends and the dad are very active. They are putting a lot of information up on the Facebook page. They're asking you, do not donate money. There are people that have put up GoFundMes trying to get money for this case, and that is not theirs. They said anything related to Cassie and the investigation and the family, please get it from their page so that you'll know that you're giving the money to the right group and not to some scammer. Or God forbid, can you imagine if you found out that you were donating to Marcus? Good God, right? So please go to their page and join that page, because they really are being very open with information. They really are. All right. Okay, it's a big case. It's got a lot going on. Like I said, there's been many CPS reports that were unfounded. There have been police reports. I mean, this is my next video on this, I'm going to go back through narcissism and the traits and the behaviors that we look for, and try to match up with what we know he's done, because it's coming from direct reports, All right. Okay. Prayers for this family, and that Cassie is somewhere safe and that she'll soon be found. Prayers that Saylor ends up in the best situation that she could be in. And I think we need to remember that CPS in Alabama, they're just trying to make a good decision about the baby. And I really think ultimately the baby will be returned to the grandfather, to Cassie's dad and her sister. I think the baby's going to be returned to her home, but I think they have to go by the book, just like they did in Houston. I think they have to go by the book. They have to do a site inspection. They have to go through the whole 9 yards just to ensure that they don't make a mistake. And we have to appreciate that, right? How many times have we gotten so frustrated with CPS because they lost a child in the system? So I can appreciate that they're trying to make a good choice for Saylor, right? All right. Y'all have a good day. And thank you for listening and spending your Sunday morning listening to me run my mouth. And I will be back. Talk to you later. Bye.